Okay, today I thought I would go over some of my October favorites. I feel like this is kind of like a popular category of video where people just like go over like their favorite things of the month. And I've seen people do it with like perfume and like books, obviously, and like albums and stuff. I'm not a fragrance head. I don't know if that's what they're called, but I thought it could be fun to do nonetheless because I've been listening to a lot of music this month and in the past little bit, and reading, and I don't know, other little things I feel like I can talk about. But I feel like I can talk about a lot of things for a long time, so I don't know. I thought it'd be fun. Okay, first, I think I want to talk about music because I feel like it's a lot easier to talk about music than books in a lot of cases because, for one, it's a lot easier to get through like a ton of albums than it is to get through a ton of books because I mean it's just like faster. But there've been a lot of good albums this year and a lot of good albums not this year that I've been listening to. To be honest, part of me feels like it'd be fun to like be like a pure music channel, like talking about like recent albums I like or like reviewing albums or ranking albums, but I feel like music fans are like absolutely feral, and I feel like keeping my content like more book focused like attracts a more like level-headed audience, because I feel like if I were to like review music, I feel like I would attract like unstable people, and maybe like I'm unstable too, but I just feel like when you're like talking about like popular figures, I just feel like musicians are kind of idolized in a way that like authors aren't really, unless you're talking about like Colin Hoover or something. But yeah, still I can still talk about it, so I'm going to. Okay, so I thought I would split this up a little bit into albums I'm enjoying that are like new, like released in 2025, and albums I'm enjoying that are not new, because that seems like a logical split. So as for albums that are new, or released this year, my newest obsession is this Rochelle Jordan album called Through the Wall, and it's incredibly groovy. It's like a full hour of just like club, like deep house, like kind of tracks. It's kind of like if Jessie Ware and Kalila and Solange all got married and then had a baby. That baby would be this album. It's really good. Her voice is super smooth. It's just good. Like, I put it on the other day and I just like cleaned my room for the entirety of it because my room needed a lot of cleaning. But it's just very groovy, very smooth. Her voice is really nice. I think you would be like hard pressed to find someone who wouldn't like this album. It's like very agreeable. It would definitely be good in the car or something like that. So this album is really good and I've really been enjoying it. And then another 2025 release, this Erika de Casier, I think that's how you say it, her album Lifetime. She's kind of been like on my periphery, but I've never actually like listened fully to one of her projects. And the other day I was just like, like, you know, I think I read a review of it and I was like, this seems like something I would like. So I listened to it and it was so good. She takes like the sensibilities, I think, of like some like 90s artists like Janet Jackson and Madonna and like Sade, and she mixes them all. She's very much like, I think like similarly to the Rochelle Jordan album, like this is an album that you'd be hard pressed to find someone who didn't like, because it's very smooth and just like the soundscapes that she creates are really, really beautiful. And again, it's another album that you can just like put on and like not pay attention to, but also like pay attention to because it's really good. And also the album cover is really beautiful. I like it. And then let's see, there's a new Cate album called Michaelangelo Dying, which is a pretty new release. And I really like Cate. I think she's like underappreciated. I think she has like a very specific like vision in terms of like the kind of sounds across all of her albums that she kind of sculpts. And this one's no different. Like you can tell from the jump, like there's kind of a similar, like, I don't know what it is. It's similar, like, it's not like a synth. It's similar, like, instrumentation sound that is consistent across all the tracks, but I think it's very she has a nice voice, and again, like the instrumentals, they're so like textured and I want to say like sculptural almost. It's just a really interesting listen, and she's another one who's very consistent across like quality wise across all of her releases. Like I don't think she's ever released like a bad album, but this one's really good. And then finally, the last album released this year that I've been into lately, earlier this year, I think January, is this album by Ela, I don't know if it's Minus or Minus. The album is called Dia, and it's like it's a little bit of a departure from the other ones, because this is definitely not one of the albums that is like, I would say is like largely agreeable. It's very electronic. I think it's easy to like think of these albums as like different artists like converging sometimes, like just as a jumping off point. So I think this one is like FK Twigs meets Okelu meets Charlie XCX meets Rosalia, and it's very kind of synthy and like jolted and a little like abrasive at times, kind of heavy too, with like a club sound, but kind of like in a dirtier way than the Rochelle Jordan album. Like this is kind of like, I want to say like grimy almost. And I really like the album cover. She looks kind of like an android or something. It's very like plasticine, kind of like PC music-esque. I don't know. Anyway, that's really good. Those are my albums that I've been enjoying that have been released this year. And then just in general, what I've been enjoying, I've been listening a lot to the first St. Vincent album, Marry Me. I don't think that's her best album, but I think the quality of her voice on that album is really beautiful, and I don't think she kind of sung on that album in a way she didn't sing on any of her other albums, and it's almost like, I want to say like a jazzy, like her voice has a tone that's really beautiful, and the instrumentation too on the album, there's a lot of like horns and guitar, and it was kind of like the calmest that she would ever be. And it's not my favorite St. Vincent album. Like she's another one who's like really consistent all across the board, but it's maybe the most like tame St. Vincent album, even though it still has like definitely an edge. It's very smooth in a lot of ways, and it's really good. So I've been listening to that. I've been listening to a lot of this artist, Vanessa Daou. She's pretty not popular, at least in terms of like streams and like monthly listeners. Her voice is like kind of loungy, like she's kind of like a loungy singer, and it's very smooth, very kind of minimalist, and she is kind of like, some of her earlier work is kind of that like 90s slightly electronic singer-songwriter quality stuff, like Anna DeFranco or Amy Mann, or even like a little bit of Tori Amos, but she is like smoother and more agreeable, I want to say, than all of them. And you have to be in a certain like mood to listen to her stuff, because sometimes it sounds like she's like breathing right in your ear and I'm like, get out, but other times it's really nice and welcome. So those have been my music enjoys lately. And I think I may at the end of the year do like a my favorite albums of 2025 list, but I don't know if that is something I would want to do, because again, I'm hesitant to fully take the music pill, if you will, to fully jump into the music craze, because I'm just worried about public backlash. I don't want to be a stir of controversy. And then in terms of books, I'm reading Mothers and Sons by, I think Adam Haslett maybe. But I'm only like a few chapters in, but I'm enjoying it. And then I'm about halfway through Her Body and Other Parties by Carmen something, and I'm enjoying that one too. It kind of reads like a book that I feel like if I had read it maybe 3 years ago or 4 years ago, it would have been one of those really important reads that like stays with me for a long time, or would have stayed with me for a long time. Because I feel like there's like a kind of certain age where, or I don't know, maybe just like looking back, I feel like there was like a certain time when the things I was reading, I don't know, like sometimes I could tell it like how it would hold a lot of weight, and I would like remember it for a long time. And I feel like it's the kind of book that I would have done that to if I had read it a little bit ago, but it's still really good. And it kind of reminds me of the Ling Ma collection I read recently that I really enjoyed. And I don't think I like it quite as much as the Ling Ma one, but it's really good, and it still kind of has that like surrealist, kind of strange edge, but also like really beautiful contemporary writing. So those have been my book enjoys lately. And then what else? I started a new notebook recently. I finished my old one, and this is a new one. It's just it's a moleskin art one. And I saw a lot of videos about like, something I was thinking about doing was like a my journaling ecosystem video, because I've like seen a lot of those. But to be honest, I kind of just throw all my thoughts into like one journal. I just have like 2 journals. I have one for words and one for art, and I feel like that makes for like a 3-minute video maybe. But yeah, those are my October favorites, even though it's like literally not even halfway through October. And I will definitely do something a little more structured next time, but I just felt like I wanted to hop on here and give a little update, because I really have been enjoying a lot of music lately, and it's fun to share. So tell me your favorite releases of 2025 in the comments below. Oh my god, I make myself really cringe sometimes. All right, that's all.